26 kids, a bus driver, kidnapped and buried alive in one of the biggest crimes that still shocks America. In 1976, a school bus full of children vanished in broad daylight in Chowchilla, California. The 26 children and their driver were on their way home when three armed men hijacked the bus. The kidnappers drove them to a remote quarry, forced them into a buried moving van underground, and then left them to die. But they didn't count on the courage of the bus driver Ed Ray and 14-year-old Michael Marshall. After 16 terrifying hours, the kids and their driver dug themselves out, with nothing but their hands, scraps of wood, and pure survival instinct. The kidnappers, three rich young men from wealthy families, they wanted a $5 million ransom, but by the time they called, the kids had already escaped. It's still remembered as one of the largest mass kidnappings in U.S. history, and one of the most incredible escapes ever. On October 15, 2018, 13-year-old Jaime Kloss was abducted from her home in Barron, Wisconsin. Here's exactly what happened. At 12:53 a.m., a 911 call was made from her mother's phone. When officers arrived minutes later, they found both of Jaime's parents, James and Denise Kloss, shot dead. Jaime was missing. For 88 days, investigators had no solid leads. Then, on January 10, 2019, Jaime escaped from a cabin in the small town of Gordon, over an hour away. She ran through the woods and flagged down a woman walking her dog. Jaime told police she had been kidnapped the night her parents were killed. Her abductor was 21-year-old Jake Patterson. He had seen her once getting off a school bus and decided to take her. Patterson used a shotgun to break into the Kloss home, murdered her parents, and hid Jaime under his bed for nearly 3 months. During that time, he blocked her in with bins and weights and threatened to kill her if she made a sound. After she escaped, Patterson was arrested the same day. He later pleaded guilty to 2 counts of murder and 1 count of kidnapping. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. She was shot during the Columbine massacre, but she didn't die until 26 years later. On April 20, 1999, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold walked into Columbine High School with guns and homemade bombs, planning to kill hundreds. They murdered 12 students and 1 teacher before taking their own lives. One of the victims was 17-year-old Anne-Marie Hochhalter. She survived, but was paralyzed from the waist down. Then in 2025, Anne suddenly passed away at 42. The coroner ruled it a homicide, caused by the injuries she suffered during Columbine. More than 2 decades later, the death toll from the shooting went up. Columbine didn't just change schools. It destroyed lives long after the shooting stopped. It wasn't just a tragedy. It was the beginning of a terrifying new reality. Subscribe now for more true crime stories and more.